This is Chorus by Aro-Fac. The top notes of this fragrance is composed of aldehyde, artemisia, bergamot, coriander, and sage. While the middle note is built on carnation, cinnamon, geranium, jasmine, patchouli, and vetiver. The base notes of this fragrance is anchored on amber, honey, leather, musk, oak moss, tonka bean, vanilla, and civet. Pretty much a very well packaged fragrance with a very beautiful presentation. The bottle feels heavy and premium to feel, with a light woody cap. In summary, it's a beautiful bottle, beautiful presentation, feels heavy, premium, and quality. The moment I smelled this strongly reminded me of Opus 10, and the reason was in the character of this fragrance. And that is what drew my attention to this fragrance. Some people just go buy a perfume because they just feel like it's customary to use a perfume when you're done dressing or when you're stepping out. It doesn't matter how you smell with that. It's different for me because I like to leave an impression of how I smell. I like to, leave a signature memory. If you pick that scent profile somewhere, you definitely have to remember me. Trust me, it's not just going to be a very generic scent profile. So I said all that to say that this perfume is not generic. It has a very robust character that literally blew me away. When I smelled this, the only perfume I could remember of was Opus 10. That perfume was okay. Now talking about Beast Mood, I have a problem with the fact that perfume sellers or random people just sit on YouTube, they pick up any perfume and they just tell you, oh, Beast Mood, this perfume, Beast Mood, Beast Mood. I feel like that word has been abused so much that when you actually get to let people know that a perfume is a Beast Mood fragrance, it becomes generic, it becomes cliche, it becomes, it feels like people start taking their minds all over the place, scanning all the horrible perfumes that were being tagged and termed as Beast Mode fragrances, and it just feels like it's another one. Opus 10 was a Beast Mode fragrance, and that fragrance had a blast of character. You hardly can have a replica. To duplicate that fragrance would be, I don't know, I would be very curious to see, a fragrance house that would duplicate that scent profile. It was extremely unique. Now, this isn't a clone of Amouage Opus 10. It is not a clone. But this has a character that reminds me of that fragrance, and which is why I'm saying, if you're low on a budget, rather than get Opus 10 for 425k or thereabout, this fragrance literally, it goes below 20k. I remember that they had a sniff of a couple of the Aro-Fac lines, and then the cliche, all-purpose sugar that everybody's having a rave about. But the thing is, sugar, I don't know, perfume sellers have just been able to hype sugar in such a way that it now feels like Aro-Fac sugar, Aro-Fac sugar, Aro-Fac sugar. And that turns me off. To even realize that perfume is being marketed as a unisex fragrance pisses me off all the time whenever I see that at any of those kind of stuff online, on Instagram or wherever. This is one of them that the website actually tried to project as a unisex fragrance, which I understand. I know where they're coming from. I mean, these Middle Eastern guys, they are trying their best to sell as much as they can, and that also affects how they present these perfumes to you, because you don't term a perfume like this as a unisex fragrance. This has no business with a woman. A woman cannot smell like this. When you see these guys market, they put out 30 perfumes and all the 30 perfumes are unisex fragrances. It blows me away. Like, where is that coming from? This is entirely a male fragrance. This leans strongly towards the male spectrum. I really don't know if a lady can pull this through. And even if you do, you really must be a stubborn person, because this naturally doesn't gravitate towards the feminine scent profile. This is not even a dark smell. This is a vintage smell. By all means, shouldn't be sold as a unisex fragrance. This smells very refined, very classic. That's the word. It's a classic perfume. I have a very strong impression that this perfume is going to have a very long stay in my, because of course I have perfumes that I have in my collection that have sat there for well over 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and it can't be generic fragrances. It has to be perfumes that, it has to be classics. I feel like this is one of those classics in the Aro-Fac line. This smells very compound. It smells very well molded, very well balanced. I wouldn't say it's a very complicated or complex scent, but it's not the simplest scent you have out there. Very well textured. I love it. You just smell classic on this. I mean, it's like, you know, those kind of vintage cars where people just buy and just have it in their garage and it stays there till eternity. There are times I have to wear this and I really don't even want to share it with anybody. I just feel like I want to have this alone. I just sit somewhere in one corner and just enjoy how this holds up on me. This holds up really good. When I wear this, it gives me this sense of tranquility that there are not a lot of nuances to this fragrance. In the opening of this fragrance, you definitely have an alcoholic situation. Once that alcohol fades, what you get from this fragrance is a blast of classic. This is a very good fragrance and scent profile you can establish as a signature scent. I don't mind having this as a signature, scent. I find this to be extremely unique in so many ways. I've sniffed a band of perfumes, and I can tell you that the quality of this perfume can match any niche fragrances at any designer level. This can match. I like to be very honest with my reviews. I'm not selling these perfumes. There's nothing I have to gain if you get to buy it or not. I'm just giving you an end user experience. So that's where my feedback is coming from. It's left for you to decide on this fragrance, whether or not to buy. You have a lady wear this around you, you obviously know she's a very stubborn person. You just know there's something not right. The same way I would feel about a man putting on sugar. I just know, except you are bi or you have some congenital situations I can't put together. This is a masculine smell. And not just a teenage masculine smell. This is an advanced male masculine smell. You can possibly just hold this from 40s. This is very mature. It smells like those men in the medieval season era. If a hardworking man has a smell, this is what you smell like. All right, you smell like a very well-disciplined man. If that has a smell, this is it. A collected man, if that has a smell, this is it. You smell so put together with this fragrance. It's a very big recommendation. It projects for about 30 minutes max. The longevity of this fragrance sits between 5 to 7 hours. You may have to give a plethora of spraying to be able to have it last for even the 7 hours I mentioned. 5 hours and the remaining 2 hours literally just becomes an intimate scent. The sillage on this one is just there. You don't fill the room with this, but definitely anybody who gets to invade your personal space gets a whiff of this. So it's a good fragrance. I highly recommend it. Highly budget friendly. The price performance on this one is nostalgic, uncanny. Like, you don't see that every day. It's less than 20k. It's going to get the job done. My conclusion on this one is I feel like Aro-Fac should just improve on their longevity, because this fragrance is as lovable as they are. They don't get to stay for as long as it should be. And I'm an advocate for perfume staying power. I think the Aro-Fac factory should be able to look into this and try to put up perfumes that holds firm longevity, which clearly their new releases are all lacking in that regard. I get it. A lot of YouTubers and some of these Instagram perfume sellers will literally come out to tell you how this perfume is going to stay 28 hours, 48, 72 hours on you, how it does 1 week until laundry and all. It's people saying all they want to say to push sales. These are just sales, marketing, theatrics. Don't fall for that. If you are a teenager or below 30, I strongly recommend you do not buy this fragrance. And that is because it's really going to be difficult to pull through this. And even if you manage to, I'm not sure you are going to get the kind of compliments you would be looking forward to getting with this very fragrance. If this perfume had a very reasonable longevity, I would have given this a 10 out of 10. But right now, my general score on this would be 7. A lady shouldn't wear this except you definitely want to defy the odds, which will definitely not be in your favor.